Hello and welcome to my channel. Story time! Yes, it's about Ronald, our favourite Ronald, the church mouse. But this one's a little bit different. It's about a journey, a holiday he went on. And I shall be reading it out of the pages rather than the book. But I'm sure it'll be good. What I thought I'd do this time is just introduce Ronald to those of you who have not actually seen him before. So, this is Ronald the church mouse. Ronald is a tiny church mouse who lives in a small village and does his best to involve others in and around the church. He is by trade a crossmaker, but can turn his hand to many other crafts, which becomes apparent throughout the stories. He drives around in a small van to collect craft materials and make deliveries. Along with Ronald, there are a group of helpers, mice of many shapes and sizes, that come to help Ronald. Ronald likes to involve others, no matter how clever they are. Ronald always has time for everyone. No one is ever left out. Shall I introduce you to his helpers? Today we have 3 of his helpers. This is Tony. This is Bill. And this is Rex. See? Different shapes and sizes, as we said. Tony is taller than Bill, and Bill is taller than Rex. But they all get on because they're all Ronald's helpers. So, let's see where we are then with Ronald today. As I said, Ronald goes on a holiday. The journey. This is chapter 1. Ronald was taking Mrs Ronald. Mrs Ronald. You can see she's got her dungarees on today. She's ready to go off on holiday. On a well-earned holiday. They had both worked very hard for the church and village over the past couple of years. Ronald, unfortunately, was not too good at flying. He was fine once the plane was up in the air. It was the taking off and the landing that set his blood pressure rising. But once he was up and settled, he loved to look out of the tiny windows across all the tops of the clouds, which looked very white and fluffy. This made Ronald want to jump and bounce on all of them across the sky. The windows were not very big on the plane, but big enough for Ronald to look out of. He would have liked to have been out with the clouds. It would feel so free to him. The plane was not exactly small, but on the other hand, it was not a jumbo jet. It only had 2 lots of seats in it. There was 3 seats down one side, then there was a middle walkway, and 3 seats on the other side. Ronald had the window seat, and Mrs Ronald sat next to him. It had been very busy at the airport, but they were both glad to be on the plane now. There's a small plane. Can you see the small plane? Ronald and Mrs Ronald were in for a surprise on the flight. They'd been talking about what meal they might have and wondering when it would come round. Mrs Ronald only had a small-looking tray on the front of her. Ronald said, "Never mind, you can share mine." Once that was sorted out and the flight was well underway, they both sat looking forward to their meals. Then there came a message over the loudspeaker. It was telling them about the flight, how long it was expected to take, what the temperature was outside of the plane, and at what time they were expected to land at their destination. This destination was Turkey. But no mention of a meal. The white clouds slowly drifted away, and soon it became very dark outside. Just when they had given up all hope of a nice hot meal, the loudspeaker went off again. This time it was to announce that the food and drink trolley would be coming out very soon, and that passengers could purchase sandwiches, cakes, sweets, and drinks from the trolley. This was not what Ronald and Mrs Ronald were quite expecting at all. One trolley with all the goodies on it. He might not have been too fussed about flying, but Ronald did look forward to the in-flight meals. When the trolley did come along, they were both rather peckish. Ronald had a piece of fruitcake, and Mrs Ronald had a chicken sandwich. Then they waited for the trolley of the next one to come, which had the drinks on it. They were not exactly full on what they'd ate, but they were not about to starve either. During the flight, Ronald wrote a couple of poems to take his mind off the journey. This is one of Ronald's poems. I am but a little fishy, swimming about in this bright sea. I know that God will not let any harm come to me. I have many friends, short, fat, round, even square. I know that God is all around me, everywhere. In him I put all my trust. To be kind and helpful to others is definitely a must. So on here, you can see we've got the sandwiches and the drinks, and then we've got Ronald's notebook, where he puts his poems. The words seemed to come to him as if by magic. They came easily into his head. The trouble was that Ronald's writing was not exactly neat and tidy once he had written it down. Oops. It was better when he sat at his computer at home, in his workshop. This he could do once they were back home, and he could relive his holiday all over again as he typed his notes. Perhaps he could have a nice cup of tea and a nice piece of Mrs Ronald's home-baked cake. That would go down very nicely. But for now, he was sat on a plane way up in the sky. Mrs Ronald's cake was the best he had ever tasted. What's your favourite cake? So we can see Ronald's desk in his workshop. And then there's a unit with the cakes on. That would be at home, wouldn't it? So at the end of this journey, which is just a short one, we have special words for chapter 1. This is what Ronald wrote us in his book. Thank you, God, for keeping us safe, that we may live to enjoy another day. I thank you, God, in my own special way. And he signed it, Ronald. I do hope you like the stories that we're saying on this journey one. One of a holiday. Everybody likes a holiday. Do join me next time for part 2. Bye-bye.